Shadows, and welcome to my Star Wars Rebels Season 4 premiere episode, Heroes of Mandalore, Part 1, Part 2 review. Yes, I mean, talk about that season, it starts with a big bang. I mean, literally it starts with a big bang, you know? I mean, like, this episode was so satisfying. Brilliantly, really well done. I mean, I'm not just talking about the characters in the story itself, I'm also talking about, you know, the character development, the action sequences, the drama, the darker tone, the comedy, the emotional parts. Everything was done brilliantly. I mean, of course, you know, the only negative thing I have, you know, in this episode overall is the first part, because the first part was all centered around, you know, Sabine Wren trying to rescue, you know, her father from prison, and then the second part, which was, you know, Sabine Wren and the others trying to destroy this ATDP, you know, R-cannon prototype, you know, that she actually built for the Empire many years ago when she was in the Imperial Academy, and now she wants to destroy it. Well, after seeing the result of that weapon, I couldn't agree more with that. Yep, this machine has to be destroyed. Yeah. So anyway, like I said, this episode was spot on. You know, I mean, especially when it comes to the first part, especially, you know, the one thing I really loved about it was the comedy, and the comedy, especially in the first part until this, you know, to the end of the second part. Everywhere around this episode, the comedy was spot on. Especially most of the comedy was actually centered on, you know, on Ezra Bridger. Because, I mean, especially, you know, Ezra Bridger trying to master the Mandalorian jetpack. I mean, it was brilliantly well done. I mean, he's a master in Jedi ways, you know, well, not like technically Jedi master, but, you know, but he's a professional, he's, you know, a master when it comes to Jedi ways, you know, but he's a very big amateur when it comes to the Mandalorian jetpack, you know, because the way how he was flying, bouncing all around and everything, you know, from the first scene in the episode and then the last one, and, I mean, the comedy was spot on. The comedy was spot on. And the one thing I will agree is that I really love Ezra Bridger in the way how he used the jetpack, you know, on his own, you know, personal on the end of this episode. Brilliantly well done. Also in this episode, we have back, you know, we have Funru back, we have, you know, Sabine Wren's brother and mother back. Also, in this episode, we have, you know, Kanan Jarrus and Ezra Bridger. And Chopper, which in the first part was a complete useless piece of junk, but there was no matter. Also in this episode, we have a very old character returning from the time of the Clone Wars. Well, more precisely, season 5. But there, bo-katan Kryze, yes, the Duchess Satine's sister, and she is brilliant. She's everything I imagined since the last time I saw her in the Clone Wars. You know, I mean, for God's sake, she's also voiced by the same voice actress who voiced her in the Clone Wars. I mean, like, it couldn't be better. It couldn't be even better, you know, than that. You can't even get better than that. I mean, seriously, it was everything about her personality, her beliefs, her in the way how she believes in the Mandalorian tradition, the voice actress, you know, and the job she done with the character. It was really brilliantly well done, you know. Also, the one thing I really wish to mention is when it comes to, you know, bo-katan's character is, you know, the way how she looks like, you know, more precisely her character design, you know, because, you know, the one thing I really love about her character, even if she is Star Wars Rebels version of bo-katan in a way, you know, but I really love, you know, that they in some way they stick to the core of her character design that you know, like she was in the Clone Wars. That's one thing I really appreciate, you know. Just worth the mentioning, of course. And also one thing I really wish to mention, you know, from the beginning of the episode until the end, you could definitely see that she right now, even if she believes in not only that she believes in good old, you know, Mandalorian tradition, but also she's completely on the same side as her sister, the Duchess, was during the Clone Wars. I mean, yes, sure, you know, at the beginning, yes, she was on her Death Watch, you know, she wanted to overthrow the Duchess because she felt like, you know, she like previous that she's, well, a very, you know, pacifist and a weak, you know, and the Mandalore deserves, you know, a better, stronger, iron fist type of leader and all that, to, you know, to get back the good old fashioned, you know, violent ways, you know, of Mandalore. Yes, you know, yes, in a way, you know, and also, of course, you know, also we have to talk about, you know, the Duchess' death. You know, I mean, in a way, she was actually responsible. You know, I mean, you have to understand, you know, if it wasn't you know, if they never encountered Darth Maul, none of this actually would ever happen. You know, so in a way, it wasn't. You know, in a way, I could definitely see her. Why? Because in the way how she actually, you know, when the way how they showed, you know, her personality in the first scene when she actually introduced herself, and when Sabine was actually trying to give bo-katan, you know, the dark side and all that. You know, because Funru said, mostly everybody on Mandalore believes that she's the rightful ruler of Mandalore himself. I mean, for God's sake, she's the sister of the Duchess, So in some way, she has the right, to rule Mandalore, after after her, of course, So in a way, I could understand why they believe in that, and all, and all that. But overall, I really like her personality, because at the beginning, she said like, I'm not my sister, I don't deserve this dark saber and all that, because like I mentioned before, in a way you can blame her and the Death Watch overall, in general, that what happened to the Duchess. That Darth Maul killed her in front of Obi-Wan, the Duchess' boyfriend. Also, what I really love about Bo-Katan's character is how even if it was very briefly, but I really love how she explained her backstory. I mean, more precisely what happened to her after the Galactic Empire started to rule across the galaxy. Just worth to mention. So in some way, I really like her character progress. Like even today, she's still blaming herself. Even if like I said, even yes, before the Duchess' death, she was cruel, ruthless, and all that. But after she died, you could definitely see one step after the other that her character changed. More precisely, she started to change. From bad to good. And in this episode, I was completely satisfied with her character. Because for me, everything was. With me, when it comes to her character, I was really, really satisfied. Especially when it comes to when she find out that she actually built the weapon for the Galactic Empire. And the way how she grabbed Sabine and threw her to the wall. Saying like, "You built abomination. You're a Mandalorian. How could you do that? Against your people and all that." In a way, look. In a way, I could understand why she reacted like that. In a way. But also, you have to, but also, Sabine, but also in a way, I also understand Sabine because, when she was younger, she was, she found that like quite challenging. She was, arrogant, young, and all that. So, in a way, I mean, it was her fault. But in a way, in some way, I could even understand even her. Even if I agree way more with Bo-Katan than her. Also, one thing, I also like about this episode is when Arlie Wren was talking about, when they were attacking the Imperial troop transporters, where where Arlie Wren was, on, because I forgot to mention that at the beginning, everybody thought like that her father is gonna be in this Imperial prison for politics or something, and then after they found out that the entire prison was empty, and of course her mother, give her the news that that the Empire changed their plans, and they're gonna transfer her father to the capital for I think in the way how they call it, I think this is some kind of a public execution. I'm not actually quite sure, but the one thing I really like when it comes to Sabine Wren, because mostly you can definitely say the entire episode was centered around her, and the development that they did with her, and the moments they give her, especially the emotional ones, it was brilliantly well done, because even if she was, for a lot of people, one of their favorite characters from the beginning of the show. She wasn't that. For me, she wasn't that much special. But after they give her, gave her, way more character development than she actually was at the beginning. I started to love her way more and more. So the one thing I really like, when they were attacking the Imperial troop transporters, Sabine and everybody else, in the way how she threw the collar, on the main transporter where her father was held captive, and he recognized that was her right away. That was perfect. That was so well done, and also in the way how they talk with each other, with the collars and like, oh, you progressed and all that. It was such a very emotional moment, between a father and a daughter. It was beautifully well done. Also, the one thing I really found funny was when Arlie Wren explained, no, she didn't get the artist ways from me. That she got from her mother, because she was really well known for killing a lot of people in so much different artistic ways. That was really quite fun. Also, speaking about the comedy, the one thing I forgot to mention, the one thing also I like about Ezra is when he was on the transporter and he was trying to rescue her father, and he was like, yes, I'm with her, but I don't mean with her like in that way, I mean like with her like in her team, that that was brilliant. Kind of odd talk between her father and him. It was kind of odd, but in a way it was handled very well, even if I will admit I was a little bit worried, because like wait, there was few scenes in the episode where Ezra was in a way acting more like a buffoon than actually, you know, like Jedi Padawan or something, because, you know, especially when it comes to, you know, when they were when they get with the transporter off the cliff, and then he gave her father the jetpack, and he was like flying away and all that, and then and he was jumping on every single transporter until, you know, he gets on the edge of the cliff and all that. Then it was kind of more like goofy style, cartoonish thing to do, you know, in a way. But still, you know, I dig it. But still, in a way, you know, I could dig it, you know. But that was actually one of my you know, flaws, because there were a lot of different episodes in all the seasons where they make, you know, Ezra sometimes look way more buffoonish than they actually, you know, than they actually, you know, should have. But in a way, you know, still, you know, satisfying, you know, in a way, you know, I can get over that, you know, in a way, you know. Also, the one thing I forgot to mention, like I said, I mentioned that one of the other beautiful things that they did in this episode is the darker tone. Just like Dave Filoni even mentioned, you know, that the season 4 is going to be way more darker than the previous ones. And this episode, I mean, oh my God, with that machine, when the Saxon clan released the weapon, I mean, that was so brutal. I mean, the way how the weapon shoot, it didn't just like fry them; it actually polarized them. You know, it polarized all Mandalorians. You know, with just one blow. I mean, it was like, I mean, the one thing I really was pretty big plus for me, and actually, like, I thank God, you know, because when the first part ended, like, you know, when they were under attack from this weapon with this ATDP, you know, arc cannon prototype, I felt like literally before I actually started watching the second part, I felt like really that maybe, you know, her mother and her brother, they actually died in the attack, but after like watching the second part and all that, and seeing them, they survived because the weapon was just a prototype and not like a you know, only its like full potential. I was like, oh, thank you God. I mean, seriously, if they released, you know, one episode a week, if for example, if I just saw, you know, the first part, I know if I could wait until seeing, you know, the result, either like did they die or not. But right now, since they showed like 2 episodes in one day, in a way, it makes me a little bit relieved, you know. But the one thing I'm really wondering how the viewer is gonna, you know, handle this, you know, by right away finding out about, you know, if they survive and all that. Well, anyway, so I mean, like I said, that scene alone with that weapon was so brutal. I mean, like, you know, like I said, they not just barbecue, they disintegrate them. Literally, they disintegrate them, you know, to the dust. The only thing that was left of them is, you know, are, you know, the part of their Mandalorian armor, you know, because just like, oh, I forgot to mention him. We also have the leader of the group is Tiber Saxon, which also is Gar Saxon's brother, and also the one, and I have to mention, you know, even if Gar Saxon was a really cruel, sadistic villain, he at least one thing he had was the respect of his Mandalorian tradition. This guy is way more sadistic and psychotic than him. He's more, like I said, he's more of a like true like Imperial soldier than an actual Mandalorian one, because you know because he doesn't care, because in this episode he proved himself. He doesn't care for Mandalorian tradition. He doesn't care, you know, for his own people and that. Even if one of his officers was telling him like, hey, no, I don't think we should do that, because what if, you know, the Empire starts using the soldier on starts using the weapon on them? On us. Well, then what will we do? You know, like, you know, shut up. They will never use, you know, on us and everything, because I hold the power, you know, because this weapon is on my, you know, under my, you know, protection and all that, you know, I'm gonna, you know, I have the power here and all that. You know, shut the fuck up, you know, because in the end of the episode, you don't have it. You just lose it in an instant when it's being modified, you know, the weapon. But also one thing I really have to mention, speaking of power, the one thing it was kind of, you know, funny and ironic in a way, but when, you know, he released the, you know, the electricity from the like the main element of the arc cannon prototype, you know, the electricity, when the electricity strike, you know, bo-katan and Sabine, and the other, you know, and the officer was trying, you know, to convince him, you know, to stop, or, you know, to stop this weapon, you know, before, like, you know, the Empire uses them then. And when he was mentioning that the Emperor Palpatine showed me this power and all that, I was wondering, did he show him? I'm just joking a bit. I'm just joking because the way how he said it, you know, it was kind of funny. And the way how he said it was really, it was really funny, you know. But the one thing I have to mention is that when Sabine Wren actually, you know, held the, you know, the Darksaber, you know, from in the first time in the third season, and then after, you know, the episode of Legacy of Mandalore, when she was actually fighting Gara Saxon and all of that, and when she decided, you know, to stay with her family, you know, trying to unite the clans and all that, and you know, you remember the one time when she said, you know, that I'm gonna try to find the rightful, you know, the rightful heir who's gonna, you know, the rightful person who's gonna, you know, lead the Mandalorian, you know, all the clans of Mandalore together and all that. I was actually, even that first time, you know, when she mentioned, I was actually thinking of bo-katan. The one, you know, that she's gonna be the one who's gonna, you know, bring all the clans together, you know. And in this episode, it proves my prediction and my theory, you know, because at the end, when, you know, after they stopped Tiber Saxon and of course, you know, after Tiber Saxon and they start destroying the weapon and they blown up the Kingdom Come, and when, you know, when it comes to the end of the episode, when Sabine Wren and her mother, you know, were talking to bo-katan, you know, and also Thunderoo all together, when they were talking about, you know, that she's the one, you know, who's gonna, you know, lead all the clans together, you know, with the Darksaber, you know, that she's the, you know, that she is worthy of that. Even at the beginning of the episode, you know, she said, you know, that she's not worthy, you know, after what happened to her sister and all that. Seeing all the clans together at the end, and the way the way how she held the Darksaber up in the air, that was so well done. And the one thing I really loved was, you know, the different colors on the armor of the different, like, Mandalorian clans. It was actually also really cool to see, you know. So overall, I mean, there was actually the entire episode, you know. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention is that, you know, I still believe there's gonna be something between Ezra and Sabine, and also with that episode, the conclusion, I can also definitely see that, you know, that Sabine Wren is gonna return, you know, to the rebels, you know, to Hera and the others, you know. I mean, I 100% believe in that, you know. So overall, this episode was actually, you know, like I said, really well done, refreshing, satisfying, and also one thing I believe is that bo-katan, you know, I do believe we're gonna see her back, you know, because you know, even in a way I can understand with this episode, they try to wrap up, you know, bo-katan's, you know, story, you know, with this episode and all that, but I do believe that we're gonna see her back. I'm counting on it that we're gonna see her back. I don't know in which episode, but I believe we're gonna see her back. Also, the one thing, oh yeah. Shit, I forgot to mention one thing. One important thing, we also have, even if it's a small role, but we also have Grand Moff Thrawn back in this episode, even if it was, like I said, a small role and also as a hologram. But I really, really adore the way how Thrawn and Tiber Saxon were talking, you know, because, you know, especially when Thrawn was talking about, because like you have to remember that he's a villain who appreciates art and tradition. And the way he was talking, like, you know, to Tiber Saxon, that, you know, that he was gonna go over Mandalore tradition, you know, to fulfill his goal and all that. And the way how Thrawn was, you know, headbutting him all the time, you know, it was really well done. It was really the way how Grand Moff Thrawn's character, you know, actually works. You know, I was really pleased, you know, with with that moment. Also, because like I said before, Gara Saxon, he was a sadistic bastard, but he at least he respected the Mandalorian tradition and their own culture. Tiber Saxon, not so much. So here I am done, folks. Rate the video, comment, subscribe, give me thoughts and ideas. Because what you personally think about bo-katan, what you think about, you know, Sabine Wren's character, what you think about, you know, Tiber Saxon, what you think about, you know, the weapon that, you know, that Sabine Wren created, what you think about the episode overall. Do you think we're gonna see bo-katan back? Drop your like, I appreciate it. Peace everyone, have an awesome day. Laura Shells, like always, signing off. See you next time.